Guy who isn't due to be a free agent for a couple of years in Cincinnati is running back Joe Mixon. When he was not heavily used in the AFC Championship, and actually we saw more from Samaje Perine, who has since left via free agency for the Broncos, we thought maybe Joe Mixon, in trouble as the running back for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's got more than $9 million that he's due to make this year. There's been a sense that maybe they're going to save some money and move on to a younger guy. Here is Zac Taylor, coach of the Bengals, talking about Mixon's future with the team.
I think we've got a great relationship with Joe. I've appreciated how he's coming to the building every single day and just worked hard. And that's a big reason why we gave him the contract we gave him, his presence with the team. And so, again, he's a guy that I enjoy being around, and we're counting on him.
Still sounds like he's going to be part of the team, Chris. And we got that vibe from Zac Taylor when we sat with him at the scouting combine. There's been nothing to contradict it. The only thing to keep in mind is that we've got this June 1 date coming. Now, they could always cut him before then, because unless you have already designated two guys you've released as post-June 1 cuts, you can keep doing it. You can do it after June 1. You can trade him after June 1. There isn't a huge cap charge here. We're only looking at $4 million that would be split between this year and next year, 2 and 2. So it's not crippling for the Bengals. I feel like they're going to keep him, though, because if you would trade him, it's $9.4 million that somebody's going to want to have to take on to give to a veteran running back. I mean, remember, Derrick Henry was reportedly on the market. There were no takers. These guys who are veteran running backs getting toward the back end of their second contracts with 8 figures or close to it in salary, teams aren't going to want to bring those guys in.
Right.
Teams are going to want to go with someone younger and cheaper.
Yeah, agreed. Nor do they want to trade assets away to get a guy where they go, okay, and then wait, we might have to pay him more and then put ourselves in a tough spot if he does have a good year, and then we got to pay him because the fan base starts to go, hey, look what he did for us, and you go, damn, we didn't want this guy long term, but now we're stuck here and we do have to pay him. There's a lot of things that go into that. But when you take it from the Bengals' perspective, I think it makes sense. You know, we've hit on this. Like, they're damn good. Like, he's damn good. What you're going to save in money, to me, it's just not worth it for where their team is at right now in the Super Bowl window. And you're finally getting the offensive line in a spot and towards the end of last year where you started to go, okay, it's starting to look pretty good. We just heard Tyler Boyd talk about Orlando Brown. I mean, Joe Mixon still got tread on the tires. He needs a hole. It's not fair. I mean, there was nowhere to run last year. They were crappy running the football. You know, they didn't get it going at all until a little bit at the end of the season. The Bills playoff game, we saw them start to hit a little mojo there. And I think the other thing with the Bengals, you look at their roster with no Perine there, like you talked about. You know, I wouldn't trust the rest of the guys they got on the roster right now for the whole season. There's too many unproven commodities. I love Chase Brown, who they drafted in the 5th round out of Illinois. I think he's going to be a baller. He's a good player. But do I want to trust him protecting Joe Burrow and carrying the ball in a big moment right away in year 1 as a rookie? No. So that's where I think, you know, the talent, yeah, he's part of the culture, and what you got on the rest of the roster still, to me, makes too much sense to keep Joe Mixon, and I get where they're going with that.
Yeah, I agree, and I think he will be there for at least one more year. It just was odd to see him marginalized to a certain extent in the championship. That was a signal that they didn't intend. That wasn't an accurate signal. It was no indication of what they were thinking about doing with Mixon, because obviously they let Perine go in free agency, and they're keeping Mixon at $9.4 million.
One more thing, Mike, just with that whole thing too. You know, this does happen where Mixon's better than Perine, but I think too, and I don't know this, I'm just going through, you know, what my knowledge of football and years of, you know, being around it, where I just think, especially in that championship game, it's the Chiefs' defense. They got a lot of crazy things they do on that side of the ball. I think Perine was just much more trusted to dissect blitzes and crazy and that's where they trusted him. And that was one of those games where I think they looked at it and said, we're not going to be able to run the ball against this group that well, so we are going to rely on the pass game, and Spagnuolo and all them, they bring some crazy crap here. We need a guy that we can trust and knows all the rules and do it the right way, and I think that probably played a big part in why he was on the field so much too, Mike.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.